Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
We are very excited to be joined today by the members of V, who are reuniting for their first public performances in 20 years. Class is in session.
Welcome, V, to CCTV. We have Antony, Aaron, Kevin, and Leon here with us, zooming in from rehearsals. Thank you so much for taking out time to come to our show. Would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers in case anyone doesn't know who you are?
Yeah, I'm Leon. I'm Aaron.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Antony.
And we are V.
Yay!
Yay!
It's been a while since we said that.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome back.
I have to ask because your symbol is the hand.
Yeah.
Did you ever actually use that when you were introducing yourselves back in the day?
Yes, we did actually. Yeah, we had a few. So the symbol came up as a the record label came up with it, didn't they? It kind of like a graphics designer. We found our logo, and then we found that a few of the fans who would used to see would turn up and say it's me, and it's like and it kind of carried on, and we made it was a ongoing joke that would do it, but it's fun. We do realise how close it is to the Star Trek, V as well. So it's for the Vulcan, right? It's
It never massively took off, did it?
No.
Did it?
I don't know. I remember some TV shows, even the Top of the Pops one we posted the other day. The presenter was like, "And here is V."
Oh, okay.
There's a few things, and I think the logo is really cool actually.
Yeah.
It's stuck. We kept that.
I'm a fan. I mean, even K-pop groups now, they have they use their own, they have different things that they do. So you guys were doing it back then. So there you go.
Yeah.
Setting
So
trends.
obviously fans are very excited because you are reuniting for Mighty Hoopla. So today was rehearsals. So how is all the planning and everything going?
Really good. We've not really sat and properly sang some of these songs for such a long time. So today was really about getting together and deciding what our set list is going to be. So we've got like a half an hour set. So 6 or 7 songs. So we've just been singing all day, trying to see what songs we're vibing on, see what songs the audience want to vibe on, and just trying to find somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, we got stuck about before lunch because we were going to do a cover version and talking about whether that's like a medley or a new song or like a throwback song. And that was a bit tricky for an hour. We're just kind of looking at each other, but we think we've got a good one.
Yeah.
Felt that. But it's nice to have you guys back in the studio. I know on the album, the harmonies are super tight. So my expectations have shot up really high. So let's take it back to 2003. Prestige Management, known for managing pop punk band Busted, held auditions for a boy band. What drove you all to audition? How was the process? And what were some of your individual musical influences?
Yeah, it's interesting you think back to that time because, even 10 years prior to that, like in the UK, it's very common for pop bands to be put together by auditions. And you used to get this newspaper called The Stage, which is really like a musical theatre newspaper. And at the back would be all these different adverts. And so obviously for V, they had one in there as well, which we came to, but these sort of started a little bit before that because me and Antony were in a bunch of bands before.
Yeah.
Kevin and Mark were in bands in Newcastle. I guess you were the only one who wasn't in a band, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite common for you weren't just in one band and that was it. You probably have to do 2 or 3 bands before one actually sort of took off.
And your stripes.
Yeah, exactly. So me and Antony knew each other for a while before, and then we did the auditions, and I remember it feeling like it was going to be a good one. Sometimes they were just put together by just some random dude in a car park, but this one felt like professional, and there was a record label involved. Busted, I think, had just taken off, and then I don't know if you know the story, but Danny from McFly came to the audition for V, and that was how he got into McFly because Tom from McFly was playing guitars at our audition. Had background music for people. And the auditions, they were pretty intense. I think it was 3 days. We were in a hotel in West London, and I think they were trying so many different combinations, and everyone was obviously really nervous and wanted to get it. But I just remember when they put us 5 together, it just felt right, and it was the chemistry was great, and the vocals were great, and we I think we're all very pretty boys at the time, so it was we were yes, this is a great band. And then I remember when we got the call like a few weeks later, and then they told us like, yeah, to meet Kevin, Leon, Mark, you two, which like, yes, this is gonna be sick.
They asked me on the phone. They went, "Who would you like the band to be, and who do you think the band is going to be?" And I was like, "It's the same answer for both." And it was the Five, because like Aaron said, when we lined up as a five and ran it all together, you just saw that it was it worked.
What were some of your influences growing up?
Mine was Anastasia.
Hey.
Yeah.
I was like proper boy band head. Like all I wanted to do since leaving school was being in a boy band. Like I was obsessed with like Take That growing up, and Backstreet Boys and NSYNC obviously, and like even like more specifically, like I just love Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. Like I just wanted to be him. I liked his voice. I liked his hair. I thought he was a cool one. So yeah, that was my influences. And Leon, you got very varied influences.
Yeah, I think I sort of grew up really surrounded by sort of R&B music, and like, believe it or not, where I'm from, reggae music and stuff's quite popular as well. So it was that sort of thing for me, really, combined then with obviously your traditional boy bands like the Backstreet Boys and stuff, who look great singers. So yeah, my influences were a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, from my experience auditioning for the band, I was 15 when I went to the first audition. By the time I got in, I just turned 16. So I was so young, my mum had to sign my record deal.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, I actually remember getting the call that I got into the band, walking back into school and like just like shaking hands with one of my teachers and saying, "I'll just see you sometime soon," and just going off to London. So for me, it was really a really drastic change in my life, because 1 minute I was in school and like literally like 2 weeks later I was living in London with a bunch of guys I'd never really met that many times before. So it was a pretty big move for me at that point. Yeah.
And I think my influences are definitely Michael Jackson. Growing up, like my mum and dad would be playing that, but my mum would be playing Madonna in the house, and so 80s. I used to love 80s music. Growing up as a kid, I was, born in the 80s, but so it should have been the 90s. Should have been my favorite as a teenager, but I always loved the 80s music, so I like the pop music from then.
I think it's what your parents play at home.
Yeah, it's what parents were playing that a lot, and then obviously I did like the 90s as well. But then as I got into singing, the boy bands were massive. Then you had the NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and JC from NSYNC. He was my inspiration to want to sing like him. Fantastic singer, could hit all the ranges, the big notes, and so I tried to model my voice to try and sing how he could, really, and it's and that's basically my story of what I was influenced on. Really.
I feel like in the UK, particularly at the time that we were all sort of like wanting to be pop stars, I think like being in a boy band was like the way in, really, wasn't it, in those days? I think the kind of like traditional bands are kind of on the decline at that point, I think, after kind of like the 90s.
Yeah.
And there was this like just massive boom of like pop bands. Yeah. It was an opportunity for like normal working class kids like us to actually be in a band.
People love singing. I just absolutely love singing. And
you didn't need to pick up a guitar anymore or like be a drummer or anything. You could actually just go be a really good singer.
And then came the TV shows.
And things. So yeah.
Speaking of that, so what was the vision for the band? How did they pitch that to you? Was there a sound that you kind of knew you had, or was there a look that they were going for?
I didn't know. Like it was an experiment in total truth. Like they knew that we want to sing and it wanted to be like a harmony group, but also that was going to be some level of dancing, some level of movement. And then when it came to start recording for the album, we were literally just one day we were in a studio in Norway, the next day in someone's wardrobe in a flat in North London as a vocal booth. And we were just recording so many different styles. Like some stuff was more R&B, some had a more like organic or like rocky sound. And it just started to develop from there. And then I think when we were out with Stargate in Norway, they started to kind of like define, I guess, they did Blood, Sweat and Tears, our first single. They started to kind of define what the sound was, but you've heard the album like you mentioned. I don't know if you would listen to the album as such and be like, there is the sound. It's kind of all over the place, and we wouldn't disagree with you at all. I think we know what our true sound is, and it is very much that kind of like a real like harmonic, like organic sound, which doesn't necessarily fully come across through our music like as an album piece.
I think if we were signed to such a major record label, I think their kind of outlook on it really was almost like a scattergun effect. to kind of just like get us with a load of different producers, all with different sounds, and just kind of hope for the best. Which it's true though, isn't it?
Hope get the best.
I remember
I think in theory though, really what should have happened was that we should have been allocated like a group of songwriters that were able to spend a lot of time with us and develop one sound.
Yeah.
Rather than pockets of different sounds.
We would they would bring like the biggest producers, like people that I was like a fan of, like from work with like Backstreet Boys or whatever, and they would come to our house or we'd go to their studio, and we would like normally like have a couple of songs prepared that we would go, and we would arrange all the harmonies ourselves. Mark would play the acoustic guitar, and we would just like perform the song as we thought it should be arranged. And it, they were always like, "Whoa, you guys like are proper. You guys can really, really sing. You're brilliant." And they were excited. But the label didn't really give them a direction. I remember like a label meeting, they were like, "We just want good songs."
Yeah, that was it.
We were like, "No shit, Sherlock, everyone wants good songs, but like, what's the style? What's like the references? What are the briefs?" Like typical, basic A&R. But at that time, I don't know, it just maybe it was a passion project for some people, and it just kind of, we didn't get that sort of definition of a sound.
Yeah.
I think we were just so happy to be recording songs.
Yeah.
Like for a job. That you just didn't really question it.
No,
yeah, and I don't get me wrong. I think we all still feel very lucky to have been in the position that we were in, and Blood, Sweat and Tears was great, and it was and what Stargate did with that was a great sound, and we had more songs of that ilk in the locker as well that didn't quite make the album that were that we listen back and that are great songs as well. It's so they kind of created a sound for us. For me, Blood, Sweat and Tears was. The sound is that people associate that's a sound for me, I guess.
They just weren't really allowed to fully flesh out words.
Yeah, but you're also kids, right? So we're all kids. We've just signed our deal. We're signed to a major label with a major management company. Sort of, you put your trust there. So you just like, if people go like, "This is the single, this is the single," you're like, "Yeah, of course it is," because you know what you're doing. So you kind of just you just go with it. It's not till like time later you start to process things and listen back that you'll be like, you understand things more.
So in answer to the question, no, we didn't have a clue.
That's hilarious. No, it's interesting you say that because, so we've been listening to this album for the past couple weeks, just like nonstop. And I actually think it actually is pretty cohesive.
Yeah, we review a lot. It's not as bad as you think. We would.
Like there is kind of this kind of guitar-driven, harmony-driven sound that does kind of run through the whole thing. So I think you should give yourselves a little more credit with that.
No, thank you. No, I appreciate that. To be fair, I think some of the songs are really, really good. It's just that hearing other songs that didn't quite make the album for us, but everyone's got their own opinion, I guess.
And I think we probably quite passionate about this subject because we didn't decide any song that went on that record as well. And so we've like discovered all these other songs that we recorded that we forgot about that didn't get released. We're like, well, that song is clearly better than the two that are on the album.
Some good songs.
And it's all hindsight, right? And as Kev says, we just sort of ran with it at the time. But like, hello, they called the album "You Stood Up." That's like the worst album title. Like, what does that even mean? We wanted it to be called, right? Tell us if you think this is cool. We wanted it to be called "Because V Want To," which is like kind of like a semi-Billy Piper reference. But they didn't like it.
Blood, Sweat and Tears.
Blood, Sweat and Tears are really good.
Yeah.
That was good. I like self-referential like titles. Oh, them so good.
Because we want
to. Because we want to. That's so cute. Okay, so you guys auditioned. We're gonna just bring it back real quick because we have questions that the fans want to know. Also, we want to know too. So you all were chosen along with Mark. What were the initial months like? You all lived together, right? So what was the dynamic in the group? Like, did you get along? Are there any funny memories from that time? What was it like?
Yeah, it was just, as you can imagine, 5 young guys getting put in a house together in, London. And it's pretty full on. And most of us hadn't really lived away from home before. So just basic things like cooking, doing your laundry, those sorts of things were just a really big deal, weren't they? And like having to budget like this small amount of money that we got every month and stuff, it was difficult. But I guess ultimately it was fun because, we were all really passionate about what we were doing and it was just great to get to know each other. And obviously, as you can imagine, there were just some really fun moments. And there were some moments where I was like super homesick as well. It was lots of ups and downs, but could probably compare it to like going to university and moving in with a group of people,
The apartment was insane. Yes, it was like a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom. Like, you ever see the movie Big of Tom Hanks? When like he's a kid and then he becomes a grown up, and he has like an apartment with like pinball machines, but no furniture really. That was basically like the Beat House.
But with nothing in the cupboards.
No. No food.
Nothing.
No food, nothing in the fridge.
Yeah.
And you all got along like from the start?
Yeah, we were. I think we were really, we were really lucky. I mean, we went through phases of different bonds, really, like with each other. But as a general, we got on, I think, a lot better than most bands out there. We knew a lot of different bands who were together back then, and they didn't hang out together. We went out together. We went out clubbing together. We did a lot together in our own time, where we knew that a lot of other bands would go and do their own thing. Naming no names, but it's
name them.
I know. I think we got on really well. And after the band finished, we kept in touch as well. Even though it was a tough time.
But like, don't you think like the things that we argued over were the same things you would argue with your siblings about? You know what I mean? Like,
do you know what I remember the other day?
Who's eating this or who's done this? Like, it was just the kind of stuff you would argue with your brother and sisters about. Like, it was never anything
silly stuff.
I don't think it was ever anything serious that anyone really argued about, was there?
There's quite like defined roles in the band as well. Like, we were a bit like the Spice Girls in that sense. I was like the boring stress head one that wanted us to practice more. Leon was like the guy wanted to do the riffs and runs, but missing Cardiff. Like, we had quite like defined roles, didn't we?
What was my role?
We wouldn't get on back in this. I didn't see much. It's quite funny. Me and Kevin weren't very close actually in that first kind of couple of years of the band. Yeah, and now we're best friends.
Yeah, they're like really close now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? We all had a bedroom each, so like for me, it was kind of like what mood I felt in would dictate which bedroom I went into each night.
Yeah.
So if I fancied kind of just chilling out and having a chat, I would go into Kev's room. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And if I wanted to play computer games, I would go into Ant's room. And like if I wanted to chat about music, I'd go and see Aaron. So it was quite nice, really. But we were all very, very different, and in a way, that made it.
Yeah. It really did. Yeah.
Love to hear it because I've heard some stories too. I haven't been in a girl group. I always wanted to be in one, but I work with people. And watching them, I'm like, is what you're fighting about? That's why I want to break up. Oh my god! So it's nice to hear there wasn't like contention, like crazy
there wasn't
issues. I love that.
Like jealous of anyone or anything like that.
That's good argument fights, but they kind of got put to bed after.
Yeah.
They were probably like when we were drunk anyway.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh, okay. Well, then now you're all living together and you're finding your flow. Prior to releasing your first single, you got to support Busted's arena tour with McFly, which is a major for like a no-name band, Yeah. So how was that experience at the time?
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, our first show was Dublin, right? The Point used to be called the Point in Dublin, so it's like 10,000 people or whatnot. So for that to be your first live show, like an audience of 10,000, was just bonkers. It was brilliant because we had our own tour bus as well, which for a new band was pretty wild. One experience to just go from tour bus to hotel to venue and just go on a whole tour like that, and what a great way to like start off your kind of practice as a band, like singing live like that in that kind of environment.
Very lucky.
Like, absolutely fantastic.
Over the course of the year, we did the first Busted arena tour. Then we supported McFly on their theatre tour, and then we supported Busted again on their arena tour.
Great tour.
Anywhere they were, we would have wheeled out, right? Which different opinions of how successful that was, but like in terms of like being on a big stage and getting to perform in front of 1,000 people every night, like it was amazing. Yeah,
I think we performed at pretty much like every major venue. In the UK and Ireland, which was a great starting point really for us, wasn't it? Like we went on, going on to TV and didn't seem as daunted.
Right.
From there running.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. I like just staying in like the best. We were in the best hotels everywhere we went. We were in the best hotels.
And getting to other country, like getting like travel all up and down the whole country is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, even like right down to like meeting like all the riggers and the people who set up the stage and like hanging out with them before like going on and stuff like that. It was just a great vibe, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Nice. That's definitely a good crash course in just like stage performance and just developing that for sure. All right, so we're now your first single, which you've already talked a little bit about, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, released in May 2004, and it hit number 6 in the UK singles chart.
Gonna be blood, sweat, and tears. Gonna be hard work and fears. But I ain't gonna stop, no, never stop till I got you. Oh.
You mentioned earlier that it was kind of just told to you that it would be the first single. So did you like it at the time? How do you remember the studio session? And what do you think of it now, like looking back on it?
I think at the time I thought it was great. It's it had energy, and it's and I think the thing that it kind of misled us in a way, because we were signed obviously to Prestige, and we were with Universal Records, and the two bands with us were Busted and McFly. We had the same management, same record label that had number ones, and I think McFly had like a number one, and so we were like, wow, we're on this amazing journey, and we're gonna do really great. We could get a number one too. It's and then obviously when we went to number 6, we were a bit like, but that's amazing. Like, we were still so happy that we got a number 6.
It did feel a bit like a failure, because they were like, it's got to be top 5. It's got to be top 5.
That sort of thing. So it's so Blood, Sweat and Tears, it was a brilliant song, and I don't think it was the song that was the reason that we got to number 6. I think it was that we were a boy band battling against the new boy band with guitars. So but the experience of recording Blood, Sweat and Tears, that was with Stargate, as we were talking about earlier. That was fantastic. They're so professional, and the way that the recording equipment is at that time was the best in the world, and the recording experience was fantastic.
The nicest guys as well.
Yeah.
And it was like our first time, I think, traveling as a band abroad as well. We went over to Norway and spent some time out there on a couple of occasions, and again, just getting on a plane and like just going to record, and that was fantastic, wasn't it? Yeah.
For me, like Blood, Sweat and Tears, I don't remember recording it, and I don't remember being that excited about it at the time. Yeah. But it kind of all felt the most excited was when we went to Miami to do the music video. Just hearing that, like, role play back. I cried. I had tears in my eyes. I was like, "This is it. You made it. This is like pop star time." And I watched the other guys like perform to camera, and I look back at that video. We just recently uploaded it to Bebo finally in like high quality, and it's a great video. Like, it's so fun. Like, it's got good energy, and I think it really matches the song, and it was a great experience doing that.
Yeah, like that's what we do for a job. We're going to go to Miami. We're going to spend a day in the sun singing along to our song. Like, just vibes.
Mind blowing, yeah.
Just total vibes. Like, what an experience to have. Like, that's your first single and your first videos in Miami. It's just, it's incredible.
And you're like 19 years old.
Yeah.
You guys look so hot.
Okay.
When you showed me the video a couple weeks, I was like, who's that? I'm way band. I love boy bands. What?
Who's the hottest?
Okay.
I remember which one you pointed out.
Hang on, Rick.
The one that's not in the band anymore.
Wait, what'd you say?
The one that's not in the band anymore.
No, actually. Hang on, Chris, wait. Hang on, Chris, you say, because I feel like pressure now.
Okay, truth, Mike, go.
She was really into the dimples.
Yes.
It was Antony.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. But then I saw this, and I was like, oh my God, it was the blonde one. So, listen, it's called a thin sandwich. I don't have to pick. ¿Por qué no los dos? So you were all very cute. Very, very cute.
Oh, no,
You're so cute now, but my little boy band heart was racing. I was like, oh my God, who is that?
Okay, so taking it back, more professional now. You mentioned the changing pop landscape. So yeah, a lot of the British pop groups were actually splitting up at that time. And it was changing to a more just kind of pop rock sound. Like, even here in the US, like Katy Perry and Kelly Clarkson and that kind of just like very like more pop rock driven kind of sound was happening. So were you feeling that at the time that your peers were starting to change? And how do you look back on that time in music?
It was the fans, wasn't it? I think when you start to notice it, I think we said earlier, so Busted came out, big, massive success, but there was still like a boy band, right? But obviously they're kind of playing instruments. And so you could see like the fans, like the fashion started to change within the fans, and they would start to be a bit grungier, and there'd be colours in the hair and jewellery. And then obviously then McFly kind of came out as a secondary, just kind of like backed up that new kind of formula of like the new kind of male band with instruments. So I think they were like start to redefine that new kind of era, and that kind of all singing, all dancing boy band was just fading away.
Because that when we were around, there were many other boy bands, right? There was B-side, AAA, Fix. There was probably loads more, and they just couldn't get any of them along. And I think the last boy band that broke probably before that was like Blue. Blue were huge, right? This Blue, there wasn't that kind of, and I think boy bands like in traditional kind of all singing, all dancing format, it's very like circular. Like it goes around and it's like they're the massive boy bands of the time, and then there's a couple more and they do okay. And then everyone's like, that's enough, we're over it. And then there's kind of like this gap. And we're sort of in that gap now, right? I know we have BTS, but that feels they're the perfect big K-pop sensation. But in terms of like an American, British, Western boy band, like there isn't one at the minute. And I know like loads of labels now are like trying to get them together because they can feel that when one does eventually come along, it'll pop off again, right?
Well, I don't think it really kicked off until One Direction, you know?
JLS probably.
Yeah, maybe like on a big scale. It was like, it was like
worldwide.
But that was still what, a decade later?
Yeah, but I think it took that long, really, for the kind of boy band to come back into the forefront, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you think you're ever going to have a boy band that will do like a full blown like dance break dancer to you anymore?
I mean, yeah. I do. Because the like K-pop boys do it so well, they're going to try and replicate that.
Yeah,
I think so, definitely.
Yeah.
There actually is a really big K-pop label that is forming a British boy band.
Yeah.
So that's coming up. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Maybe we should audition.
Please do. They need harmonies. Please do.
Yeah.
Joel for that, honey.
Listen, y'all were getting it in the Can You Feel It video, but speaking of which, your second single, which peaked at number 5 on the UK singles chart, was a double A-side of Xenomania's produced Hip to Hip and the cover of the Jackson song, Can You Feel It, which also appeared in the Discomania compilation, which included contributions from other groups like Girls Aloud.
Hip, hip to hip, cheek, cheek to cheek. Without you, girl, the future's bleak. Hip, hip to hip, cheek, cheek to cheek. I want you by my side. Hip, hip to hip, cheek, cheek to cheek. You're gonna day, it's like a week. Hip, hip to hip, cheek, cheek to cheek. I'm feeling good inside. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you take a look around? Come on. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Let's start with Hip to Hip. What a bop. I love it. I love it so much. What are your thoughts on this one? And are there any fun memories about the song recording or even the music video process?
I was stunned, to be honest, when we released it, because I just thought, what is this? I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. But it is fun. It is fun, you know? But I don't think, again, going back to kind of like, a true reflection of our sound, I don't think it is that. It took me a while to get used to it. But what I will say is, like, when you perform it on stage, the reaction's great, and like people all seem to kind of like enjoy dancing to it and moving to it and stuff. But as a song itself, it's not my favorite, I've got to be honest.
It has a bit of like a cult following there, isn't it?
It does, yeah. And the music video was amazing. Like, we shot that music video in Rio, in Brazil. So that was just obviously awesome and, a really amazing experience. But as far as the song goes, it's not my favorite. But I don't know what you guys think.
Production-wise, it's actually held up quite well. Like, in terms of like what Xenomania did with that.
Yeah.
It's funny, like Xenomania were obviously huge, like with Girls Aloud and Sugar Bass, and we were kind of like probably a bit of a share. We were kind of a bit like a weird fit for them, maybe. But I think it's just it's a decent song. Kind of Phoenix, the one, it's a bit strange. Like, we just actually did that in about half an hour because we knew that we had this TV show coming up, and then they decided to put it out. And we today was giving us anxiety. That song is just bonkers. Like, we're like, what is who sings?
It's hard. It's a hard song to sing vocally.
Yeah.
And like, it's just right up there. And it's like there's nowhere to breathe, and it's constant. It's can you feel it? Can you feel it? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually mad that we could have had a top 3 with those 2 songs, but there was like what was the?
No, it was that song.
I don't know. Can we swear a little bit on this or not? Oh, it's but what I said. It don't mean shit now. So that and the girl version was out. So they were number 1 and 2. So it was like a freak thing that we released that week. They were holding 1 and 2 for like 16 weeks or something. It was mental, and so it was like, we could have had a top 3 then.
And wasn't at least Trippy Ones was in there as well?
No, it wasn't. No, that was.
At least was number 3.
Yeah,
so
it was.
It was Milkshake.
Well, was it? What number did we get? Did you say
5?
5. It sure wasn't 4.
Yeah. It might have got the top three potentially.
We could have had it, if it wasn't for the Eamon song. But the video to Hip Hip was amazing. Again, we got to go to Rio de Janeiro for that as well. It's like, it's the site where we were was amazing, and the models all around us was crazy. I mean, it was a good budget video.
They were spending money on us, clearly, by the sounds of it, like you said so far, right?
Yeah.
So you can see why they're like, this has to be #1 worldwide, or you are out.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Disco Mania performance? I don't know if you've seen that on YouTube when we did Can You Feel It?
Yeah, I think we saw. There's like a lower quality version up.
Yeah. Probably my mum uploaded it. Yeah. That was a funny day. Like even like Donna Summer, like we were on stage with Donna Summer. Yeah. At the time, I was just like being silly, and I think Donna Summer, like from Disco Legend,
what a legend,
we were on stage with her.
And like she remember because she was. We were watching her because she kept doing take after take because she was like, no, I need to perfect it. I need to go again. And I think nearly every other artist on that stage, in fact, every artist was miming. Yeah. She was the only person singing live. Yeah. And like, the perfectionism. What a legend.
Yeah. The video is actually really fun too. You all get to kind of put on a little character. What are some memories from that?
It's probably my favorite video, to be honest, because I feel like it was a video that really showed our true personalities. We were able to act a little bit and get dressed up and be these little characters for the day. I think Kev loves it because it's like
I didn't. Well, for a couple, two reasons. Well, first of all, I just didn't really want to be an ice cream man. I just felt like it had that kind of like creepy undertone. Do you know what I mean? I thought, why have I got to wear that outfit and that stupid hat? That was the first thing. And the second thing was like my solo shots were end of the day. So my actual close-up shots was actually shot at night and lit, not that it looks like it. And so I was like, well, so I'm literally like hanging about now for like this whole time just eating ice cream.
You can't act though, Chief.
I got the scene where like I did the bum on the thing and like the panic. I did act a little bit.
Actually, I thought it was good.
It's good that we had so many dancers. That was like a theme of Can You Feel It? Like whenever we performed that, we'd have like hundreds of dancers.
I always get the best feedback from like people I know about that music video. Yeah. I suppose I do a bit of acting in it.
So brilliant, isn't that?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's how you got it. Yeah.
We also did pay for that music video ourselves. Just an interesting fact for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when it started getting a bit weird in V World with like the money and stuff.
It was never supposed to be a single. Hip Tip was ready to go as the single, and we performed that on that TV show, and the feedback was just so good that the label were like, you guys should totally release this as a double A side. And then they were like, oh, we haven't got budget for you for a video because we spent it all in Rio. And I think our management were like, well, the boys can pay for it.
Yeah, this still happens now, unfortunately. A lot of the artists I worked with, like they had to at least pay partially for some of their own music videos. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But it's a great video. So money well spent there.
Yeah, well worth it.
Yeah, I actually do want to ask though about choreography, because from watching some of your performances, there wasn't too much choreography, but then you actually recently put up some rehearsal footage of Breakaway and some other tracks, and there's actually like really decent and hard choreography in there. What was the thought behind your performance style and what you were going for? Because we had One Direction much later on that just kind of jumped around and they never did any choreography. So yeah, what was the performance style that you were going for, and was there any influence there, or was that just you guys deciding that?
No, we had an amazing choreographer who's like a very dear friend to all of us still. Her name's Kate Prince, and she has a dance company called Zoo Nation who do these amazing shows. They're actually in America at the moment, one of their shows. So Kate was our choreographer. She came on right at the start and really fucking tried her best of us. We weren't the most talented dancers. I think like Kevin and Nat actually are good. Me, Leon, and Mark probably not so much. So she sort of like tried her best, and I think there was dancing when we did the Busted and McFly tours, like we did Breakaway and Stop Volunteers. There was dancing then, but yeah, you're right. In the singles and the TV performances, maybe not so much, but
we did a lot though. We did a
lot. They sent us to dance classes all the time. Like I think they probably wanted to be more of a thing than it.
I think they always wanted us to be like an NSYNC, you know?
Yeah. But you can't really, you can only do so much. So they would give us money to go down to Pineapple Dance Studios in central London. And we would go to the dance studio and get the receptionist to print out receipts saying that we'd done class. And then we would just go to the cinema or something. It wasn't our passion, I don't think, dancing. Really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you like dancing?
I did. I used to love it.
Kevin was, I mean, you were great at the elegant stuff as well. Like, you know, we got sent to, we're doing plies across the floor, like, you know, I could never do that. I can stick my hand out there really good and fast, but I'm never going to be able to, you know, do what you did across that floor that day. And I was like, I am so out of my depth. Why are we in this bar?
The corner, the turns.
Yeah. It was funny. Like, you know, it was great. It was an experience, and we did try. But it's but yeah, boys. We were just young lads, weren't we, at the time? And but yeah, we
were willing to dance still. Like, you know, we weren't against it at all. You know, we were happy.
Yeah. And Kate was amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, she made the routines. Probably made us look better dancers than we were. But it's made us feel comfortable. And there's a few songs like Blood, Sweat and Tears where it's more just organised chaos, really, isn't it? So we have places to. I know I'm going to go over there. He knows I've got over there, but it looks like it's random. But, you know, so it's But then there are dance routines that she definitely tested us and pushed us to our limits. And but yeah, never opposed to doing that again, I guess.
Love a good dance moment, just saying.
Yeah.
Well, just to slow it down a bit, in October 2004, you released your third single, You Stood Up, love that song, which hit number 12 on the UK singles chart.
You stood up and stole it. Cause you never wanted me. You admit you don't feel it. I just admit you just stood up and stole it from me.
And you also had the iconic performance on Top of the Pops, where you all stood in the rain, an ultimate boy band move. You know, every boy band needs a rain moment. So you recently shared that the rain machine was actually there for Brandy, but she wasn't having that. So you used it instead. So what were your thoughts on the song and all the promo you did for that track and the rain?
I mean, first of all, how random is that performance? Like, let's just do a performance in the rain. Yeah, Brandy was born, I think she had Aphrodisiac. Brandy, I think that was her single at the time. And she just didn't rock up, I don't think, right? She cancelled or something.
Remember,
she wasn't there.
She didn't want to get anywhere.
No, was she still there?
She did a performance on it, but she didn't want the rain because she didn't want to get her hair wet. So we had it.
And so we did a rehearsal early in the day first. And when we did the rehearsal, the water was cold and like freezing cold. That's true, right? And they were like, don't worry when it comes to doing the Top of the Pops is live, right?
Take your breath away, cold.
So they're like, don't worry when you come to do like the performance later, it's not going to be cold, so you're not all going to be like freaking out. But I mean, what can you say? Like, it's the ultimate boy band experience, isn't it? Singing in the rain on TV. Like,
I think it's an amazing performance. I watched it the other day when we uploaded it, and I was like, Leon was like finding that camera every time. And there's one bit where Kevin's like, look to the right. Camera, like it's just, the vocals are incredible.
No, those vocals and that live microphone and that rain, the combo.
It's okay. People don't need to know. It's okay.
Yeah, you know, we're still living. We're still living.
I mean, you stood up. It was pretty crazy. I feel. I love the song, but I just feel like it got lost. By that point, at that time, we just got lost in the Christmas market, I guess, because it was so close to Christmas when it got released, and we were competing with all the big guns. Everyone releases at Christmas their albums and everything, and our album was getting released off the back of that single as well. And so it was a bit of a tough pill to swallow because I think the song was. I really liked the song. I really liked singing it personally, and it's. But the video shoot for that was good fun as well. We were in tears laughing when we were having to get changed into that changing room. I couldn't sing, you know. It's but yeah, we had a good laugh with that as well. So it's yeah.
It is a great song, and of course, we do have to give a shout out, Antony. Your vocals are so good.
Oh,
you can stand up to JC, I think. And also, a lot of fans mentioned that there actually are solo versions of You Stood Up that were recorded, and they would love that on streaming. So just wanted to point that out for everybody.
I think that might be a no. You can have all theirs, do not have a mine. My goodness. Oh.
I think it was one of those things that obviously, you know, one of those like tricks back in the day to try and get fans to buy more copies. Like they made like another CD with like additional versions, but I don't think the additional versions were even mixed. Like when it came, we uploaded some of the old B-sides recently that we kind of found in storage to like streaming platforms. And the label were like, "Oh, do you want the solo versions up?" And I listened to them, and I was like, "No, you can't do that to us. No. They sound shit." So, yeah, they're gone now. Sorry.
All good. Good to know. So let's get to the album, also called Used It Up, which was also released in October, and it charted at number 86 on the UK albums chart. And so, thinking back through the album now, what are some of your favorite tracks, your least favorite tracks? And of course, we want to note you do have some writing credits as well on the tracks Hold Me and Fools. So, yeah, talk us through it.
Yeah, it's I think one of my favorite songs that never got released off the album is "Stop the Tears." I love that. I love that song. I think it's a really nice song, and it's I'm trying to think of what songs I don't like on it. I think probably the song that I least like on the album is "Angel." Yeah. Angel starts running down into the cloud. I don't think it's a bad song, but I don't think it was right for us. I don't know. Yeah, I think there were better songs that could have took its place, in my opinion. But I don't mind the song.
Stop the Tears, Mason.
Yeah,
we did that with Steve Anderson, who I know you had on your podcast. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, and Tim Woodcock. Yeah, Tim Woodcock wrote that as well.
What was the question, sir? What songs do you like and what songs don't we like?
Yeah, and just any specific memories about the album as a whole and just thoughts looking back on it.
Yeah, I think the artwork as well. That was a. It just sounds like we're complaining here, but it's a bit. But yeah, there was something with that, weren't there? That we.
I think there was a lot of hard work that went into it. Like even though it was a mishmash of songs, but we worked really hard. Like for I would probably say like a good 6 months, like to a year. Like all we did was like drive places and record songs. Like, from morning till night, and like we would be sometimes doing like really long days work in the studio. And I think like for me, like the irrespective of what I think of the album, like the experience of like just being in a studio every day, getting to work with these great producers, meeting these great people, that's the takeaway for me. That was the most amazing thing about it, was just spending time like doing that for a job, So I kind of like when I think back on the album, I just think of those happy times, like just being a band and recording, and spending our days in studios, more so than dissecting the songs, really. For me personally,
it's funny because when you just
I'm proud of this at work that we put into it.
Yeah, I agree with everything Leon said. Like you have to think fondly of the experience rather than like what we would have changed about the record and stuff like that. But like when you just called out the chart position there, like we would like, because it's quite triggering because and not in a bad way, because obviously we're talking about it, but like when the album obviously flopped, like fucking hell, it was like the most like traumatic thing I've ever been through in my life.
Yeah.
Because suddenly the dream is over, right? Like
in that moment it's over, right?
That is not a good chart position. Even like the guy from the label came down like the week before and was like, the album isn't charting, right? And we were like, what? We recorded this for 2 years and been promoting it and doing signings. What do you mean it's not going to chart? And he's like, yeah, like I guess they didn't have any pre-orders or whatever, but like, so when it tanked, and then you kind of, the inevitable is coming, right? And I think the album came out before Christmas, and then we came back after Christmas, and it was like the label out, you've been dropped now. And I think now it's like that was like such a shitty time for us all, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, talk about having the rug pulled from underneath you. That's probably the best way to describe it. And you always, I don't know, you can't prepare yourself for it, even though before you're always being made aware that this has to be everything. This just has to be a smash or it's nothing. So we're well aware that that's the situation.
No middle ground.
So obviously when you get a third single going to number 12, that's going to line up the album. You're already starting to think like, oh shit. Okay.
I think for the first single going in at number 6, I felt like that was the beginning of the end, if I'm being totally honest, just because everyone predicted that we were going to be number 1, and I think
that was the chat, wasn't it?
I think at one point, like in the mid-weeks, we were like not a million miles away from number 1.
The sales difference was really slight, I believe, between those.
But the moment we had a number 6, you could just see it in like the label spaces. People were speaking to management and stuff that in their eyes it was a failure just because how much had gone into it. So I kind of felt like the downfall was was always happening.
It's never we were quite doing what we should be doing, was it?
But nothing can prepare you when that moment actually comes. Like, nothing can prepare you.
Especially when you're that young.
Nothing. There's no way of explaining that or understanding that or even know how to deal with that. That's just something that takes time.
I often say this. So I think if we were a bit older, we'd have like regular jobs before we were pop stars. I think you probably would have thought, wow, that was a good bit of fun, you know, and you would have like ridden it out a bit and thought, that was cool. It didn't work out, but we didn't. Like, this was our first job. Like, this was our entry into the adult world. So you just think it's going to last forever at that point.
Yeah, that's the plan. Was the plan, right? That's what we all group wanted, and that was the dream. You know, you're in that situation where you sit at home watching boy bands on Top of the Pops, being like, "That's what I want to do," and then you get to do that yourself. So that cheesy thing, like your dream becoming true, is it's so powerful. So you're in that, so you can't see past that. Like, this is your life now, and so
I think it took me like a good 10 years to get over this.
Oh wow, yeah.
You like you say, you have your dream, and then suddenly you don't, and then you got to go back to your hometown, and you're embarrassed because you were the kid on TV a week ago. Everyone thinks you've got £1 million in your pocket because that's what they think. You know, you're famous, you have money, and you've got nothing, and you're embarrassed, and it feels shit. You don't know what to do next, and you like sat by the phone waiting for someone to call you. Like, the worst experience. And now I look back on V with like such fondness. Like, that's what we're doing this right now, right? Getting back together and having fun at Hoopla this summer. But like, it was very like
painful.
Yeah,
it was painful. Yeah. We were talking about earlier around the dining table. So when we decided to like do Mighty Hoopla and record some new songs or whatever it is that we're doing currently, it's funny because I was there like, I was always feeling like a little bit like it felt so distant because it was such a long time ago. And although there's so much joy in V, like there's definitely what Aaron was saying, like the aftermath, there's definitely a lot of like pain that came within that. So it was almost a bit like, ooh, whoa, okay, yeah. Like, is it? And so it's an interesting journey, really is.
So thanks for bringing up that position.
Can be tough. Like I used to work at a record label, and like it was very quick to drop artists actually, and it was never done like in a very nice way. No. And so you did officially kind of split in 2005 with a letter to your fans, and then you actually then reunited briefly in 2018. You established the Because V Want To Facebook group, and then you did have the brand new song Medicine as well.
If love is pain, set me on fire, keep lifting me higher, in your face. If love is pain, throw me in the water, when I'm going under, save me again.
Yeah, Medicine, it's interesting, right? Because as Leon and Ad said, like, you know, we've always kept in touch. We've always had a WhatsApp group, and, you know, we'd go to each other's weddings, birthdays. We'd meet up. Me and Kevin would, like, both living in London, so we'd see each other all the time. But I felt like, yeah, when did we do that? 2015. For me personally, I was like, there's unfinished business here, and I just wanted to be in the studio with the guys. And I kind of carried on working in the music industry since. So I was like, I can get us a studio, I can get us a producer, I can get the guy to video it. Let's just come together with no agenda. I found a really nice song. It's written and recorded by an artist called JC Stewart, who I knew, and he kindly said, yeah, I'd love you, go to do what you want, record the song. He gave us the backing track. So it was just purely just for fun, but really to kind of like, I guess, heal a few wounds for me personally. I don't want us to be like in the studio with the guys and just to do one last song, be like, well, we are a good band. What we went through was fucking shit, but like, we can sing. We've got a great bond. And it's just a sweetest day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We just pissed around for most of the day, just laughing and just being silly. And then, we were like, oh, God, we got to record this song. And we just, laid down the vocals in a couple of hours.
It was so easy because we were just, it started off, we were just going to hang out. We were just getting a date in the diary for all five of us just to hang out. And we were going to meet in London and just hang out. That was it, right? And then you were like, what if we hung out in a studio? And then we're like, yeah, we could do that. And then the song came in and then just kind of turned into it. So it all happened quite naturally. It was pretty magical.
Yeah, I think it came out really nice.
Yeah, it is.
It worked out really nicely for sure, because now you have Mighty Hoopla in June 2024, and we're looking really forward to it. So how did the opportunity itself come about? Because you guys seemed like you were ready, but how did the opportunity come? And of course, we have to mention that Mark now lives in Australia. Is that why he's not part of this situation at the moment?
Yeah, exactly that. It's so basically Mighty Hoopla. Well, first of all, Mighty Hoopla are the 2 most joyous days of the entire year. That is just a fact. That's true, right? Leon and Antony haven't been to Mighty Hoopla before. I don't think me and Aaron have ever missed a Mighty Hoopla throughout all the years. Glyn, who runs Mighty Hoopla, is a friend of ours as well. And so basically, we got together to sing at Aaron's 40th birthday in the summer. And it just kind of went from there. Lots of people at Aaron's birthday, people saw us singing. I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, you guys still have it. So we're like, cool. And then there was just a few little rumblings here and there. Then Glyn was like, you need to do Hoopla. So we were like, how could we say no? And of course, the first thing we did was message Mark to be like, we've been offered to do Mighty Hoopla. Can you do it? And Australia's just miles away, isn't it? And so I just don't think it's possible. That's it. Like Mark's still in V. He's just not a Mighty Hoopla.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you have teased some new music, even re-recordings of unreleased material from before. Like you just did a live performance of Hey Come On your live stream. So after Mighty Hoopla, anything else you have planned, or what do you envision for V moving forward?
We had like a conversation this morning about it, and I think it's just do whatever feels right in that moment. Like we've got a bunch of unreleased songs, some of which we think are pretty good. So we're going to look at getting them recorded, maybe write some new ones. Listen, we've all got day jobs, right? Like we all got other things going on, but we love hanging out together. We think we're a good band, and it's just about exploring opportunities. Like it's a nice space to be, right? Because we're not like chasing this big dream. This has to work. We got to make it. Hell no, like we're just like exploring opportunities. Hoopla's gonna be the best day. You know, I always find in these situations, you do one thing and then it leads to another, and like who knows what could happen. But I think we'll be realistic.
Take it as it comes.
And we're all agreed that we do want to make new music. We do want to. And see where that leads. Basically, it's and whether that's releasing music that in the future, whether that's just doing festivals year after year, or doing whatever. Like we're definitely keeping our options open, but we're not we're being real as well. It's so we'll see. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we love it. We're so excited for everything you have coming up. Thank you so much for coming on our show. I do have to shout out my friend Lowell. He's a huge super fan. He'll be flying from Hong Kong to come see you. And he gave me a bit of a crash course on you guys. Like he sent me footage from Aaron's 40th birthday. Like he sent me the hidden track on the album. He is so excited. So I wanted to shout him out.
Look forward to seeing you.
We've seen him in the comments. Like it's so sweet. He has a son, right? And he was showing his son.
Japanese guy.
Is it?
That's the guy. Yeah, that's Mark.
Mark. Okay. Well, we love Lau.
We're huge in Asia.
We love it. Oh man, thank you so much for coming on our show. Yeah, we can't wait to see all the footage from Mighty Hoopla, and we are rooting for you from across the pond.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for inviting us. It's really sweet.
Of course.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Can we get a B sign before you go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
What do you all think of V? Are you old fans or new fans? And are you attending Mighty Hoopla? Also, let us know which artists you'd like to hear us do a Pop 101 class about. You can also comment below or message us at CCTV Pops on social media channels. Woohoo! You can also join us on Patreon for exclusive content, and you will get extra priority. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications for our channel. And if you're enjoying the show on a podcast platform, give us a rating and a review. Thank you very much. Until next time, that's Chris.
That's Chantel.
And we're signing off from CCTV, the Nonstop Pop Show.